take a look at the 5 top developments that we are going to focus on in this broadcast at 5. It's end game for Luthra Brothers. There's a hearing underway. We'll get to know shortly about the court's verdict on their anticipatory bail plea. We're tracking every single development related to the Goa Inferno case. Next on the broadcast, we'll also discuss the comments that have come in from Hrithik Roshan on the movie Dhurandhar and the politics around it. We'll move on story number 3. We'll talk about the vaping row that has rocked Parliament. BJP MP Anurag Thakur has claimed that a TMC MP has been smoking e-cigarette inside the Parliament premise. TMC says that's a lie. We'll tell you all about the reactions coming in from both camps. Trump's golden ticket to US, $1 million, $1 million US, straight citizenship. Trump says it's exciting. And we'll also talk about the face-off that was witnessed between JP Nadda and Mallikarjun Kharge on Vande Mataram. Mallikarjun Kharge asking, why are we discussing Nehru now? First up, let's talk about all the developments related to Goa Inferno case. Criminals can run, criminals can hide. Criminals with hefty bank balances also buy flight tickets within 98 minutes of a devastating fire that killed 25 innocent people. But the same criminals, the cowards, cannot outrun the law of the land. The Luthra brothers have been detained in Thailand. The process to deport them to India is currently underway. Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, co-owners of the nightclub in Goa that caught fire on the night of 6 December, are currently in a detention center in Phuket. We've accessed pictures on your screens as well, which shows both the brothers in handcuffs holding their passports and standing next to a Thai police official. The brothers booked a flight to Thailand just 98 minutes after they learnt of the fire at their club, the blaze ripping through their club in Goa. They were contacted by the Goa police. They knew that people were dying. People were still being pulled out of the charred remains of their club, and yet they chose to leave. But because of the quick movement by our agencies, a blue corner notice was issued that led to action. Let's first take a look at this ground report filed by my colleague Isha, who's reporting from Thailand on all the developments that have taken place so far in the Goa Inferno case.
It is game over for the Luthra brothers as they have been detained in Phuket, in Thailand. They are currently lodged into this detention center. This is the Phuket Immigration Office. This is where they have been lodged. We were hearing from our sources that they could be taken out anytime in the evening today, but now, because of paperwork that is stuck, they will be taken out and deported tomorrow. What is still unclear is that if they will be taken to Bangkok or straight to India. But what we know is that this was a massive success for Indian authorities who worked in tandem with the Thailand police to nab the accused and bring justice to the 25 victims who lost their lives in the Goa fire tragedy.
So Luthra brothers thought a flight to Thailand could save them. They thought hiding in Thailand could help them fool the authorities. They also thought they could vanish into a crowd, a tourist crowd, and escape accountability as well. But this morning, the illusion was shattered. The news has tightened. The dragnet has closed in. Because this is new India, and here criminals don't get to negotiate terms. Soon, the Luthras will be dragged back. So let's take a look at what's next for them. Let's explain to you with the help of graphics what we are looking at. What next for Luthra brothers? Luthras to be formally arrested. They'll be placed under arrest. Brothers to be taken to Phuket airport, where we're given to understand they'll be handed over to Indian authorities, which according to information will happen tomorrow. Luthras to be brought to Delhi, and then from Delhi we're given to understand they'll be taken to Goa on transit remand, where they'll have to answer questions of the agencies and also face the law of the land, appear in front of the Goa Sessions Court. So this is what is going to transpire in terms of the legal process that will take place. Now, the Luthras can no longer hide behind excuses, licenses, or legal technicalities. They can no longer pretend to be businessmen on a meeting to defend their midnight escape route. They can no longer lecture to the courts about no criminal intent, when their only intent was to run. And now that they have been caught, the focus shifts to the larger rot, the possible collusion, the possible cover-up, the possible network of officials and operators who enabled this tragedy. Because a fire like this doesn't just happen. It is built over years of negligence, corruption and unholy patronage. That's why Times Now is asking the questions that have been unanswered. Let's take a look at what transpired. So Luthras ran, but who in the system alarmed them? Who tipped them off and they let them have this escape? Luthras detained. Will the corrupt officials also face action next? Were palms greased to allow illegal nightclub to operate? Who were those people? Will they be facing law as well? Was there a chain of bribes and collusion that helped them in operating? Who signed the files? Who ignored audits? Will they be named as well? Who in the Goa government benefited after warnings were buried? They were ignored clearly. Who let Goa club run despite glaring fire safety violations? Will investigation stop at Luthras or will the web be exposed? These are pertinent questions that have not been answered. Should officials who signed safety documents be arrested as well? Will Goa government move to prosecute officers who helped Luthras throughout the plan to first operate and then escape as well? Did political patronage help this club operate beyond rules? If the state knew of safety violations, why didn't anyone act? Why didn't anyone ensure that such a tragedy does not take place? So these are the crucial questions that need to be asked. In a bail hearing today in Delhi's Rohini court, where the Luthras applied for anticipatory bail, they are facing serious allegations from the state which accused them of fleeing the scene of a deadly incident and evading an investigation. The state's argument highlighted suspicious actions, including flights booked immediately after the event and claims of an expired restaurant license. In their defense, the Luthras vehemently denied the allegations, calling them acts of vengeance. Let's in fact take you through the state's arguments. Anytime now, we're expecting a verdict to come in from the court. Before that, let's quickly take a look at the arguments that have been presented in court, both by the Luthras as well as the state. So Luthra Brothers bail hearing has just happened. These are the state's arguments. This is what the Luthras have said. Flights booked soon after incident. That's the allegation. The counter wrongly being portrayed that they ran away from the state. State's argument, you wake up at 1:15 a.m. and book flight. Luthras counter, my operational managers were in Goa, conveniently putting the blame on the managers. Another argument from the state, people were dying and you fled. Luthras counter, I have gone to Goa only twice. State's argument is that the travel was undertaken to evade law. The counter from Luthras, I am setting up a restaurant in Phuket. So they're saying that was for business, that was for work. Another allegation or argument, they had no business interest in Thailand. Luthras counter, authorities on path of vengeance. So this is the claim that they're making, that the authorities are acting out of vengeance. Another allegation, you say people arrested should bear brunt. Luthras counter, everything being done is for revenge. State said probe shows one entry and one exit only. Now Luthras have told the court one restaurant raised, another seized. They're also claiming in the court that there were two entry and exit points. Allegation, no license to run the restaurant. Luthras counter, medical grounds being cited. Saurav epileptic, Gaurav has neuro issues. Another allegation, trade license also expired. Luthras, man before court, never an absconder. So while allegations are being leveled, they are citing their antecedents, that they have never broken any norms, any laws. They acted as per the norms. State's allegation, notice for demolition was issued in August. Luthras are saying, we are ready to return if granted protection. Applicant, his wife, receiving threats. Loss of lives wasn't intentional. So they're saying this is accidental. This was not intentional. Give us security, give us protection, because we want to come back to India and we want to face the law. But for the ones who lost their loved ones, for the ones who suffered because of the negligence, for the ones who survived the blaze, the memories of that haunting night will be hard to erase. Listening to Bhavna Joshi, she lost her husband and 3 sisters in the fire, and she's the only one from her family who survived that night.
इतना बुरा हाल हुआ है सर, मैंने कभी सपने में नहीं सोचा। मैं नहीं चाहती थी मेरी किसी की, मैं कभी भी किसी के बारे में ऐसे न्यूज़ पढ़ती थी, मुझे इतनी तकलीफ होती थी। आज मैंने खुद अपने घर के परिवार वालों को इस तकलीफ में देखा है, अपनी आंखों के सामने देखा है। बस मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाई, बस मैं सबसे मदद मांगती रही। गई, किसी ने मेरी मदद नहीं करी, बस चीखती चिल्लाती रही 4-4 5-5 घंटे वहाँ पर सबके आगे गिड़गिड़ाती रही, मेरी फैमिली को बचाओ, अंदर फंसे लोगों को बाहर निकालो, प्लीज़ कुछ करिए, प्लीज़ कुछ करिए। लोग खड़े होकर तमाशा देख रहे हैं जलते हुए बाहर, कोई कुछ नहीं कर रहा है सर। फायर ब्रिगेड की गाड़ी भी 40 मिनट बाद आती है, पुलिस भी उतनी लेट आती है, जब कुछ सब मतलब पुलिस आ रही है कुछ देख ही नहीं रही है, मतलब खड़े होके अंदर मतलब कोई एक्शन ही नहीं ले रहे, समझ ही नहीं आ रहा था वहाँ हो क्या रहा है। ऐसा लग रहा है कि बस मरते हुए छोड़ दिया लोगों को, बस
मरते हुए छोड़ दिया, that they were left to die. That's what Bhavna Joshi, a survivor, says. Meanwhile, the opposition is in no mood to relent. There's politics happening as well on the issue. Opposition blames the BJP government for allowing corruption to flourish and for letting the Luthras leave in the first place.
उनको भगाने में किन किन लोगों का हाथ रहा है, इसकी भी जांच होनी चाहिए। बगैर भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सरकार के सहयोग के वो गोवा छोड़ के नहीं भाग सकते थे। इंडिगो एयरलाइंस और सबको नहीं मिल रही है, देश की जनता परेशान हो रही है और 25 लोगों की जान चली गई जिन लोगों की लापरवाही से। वो इंडिगो की एयरलाइन से भाग गए हिंदुस्तान छोड़ के और हमारी सरकार कुछ नहीं कर पाई।
Why were they allowed to escape? Why did we have to go to exotic Thailand to arrest them? They could have been arrested in Goa itself. But the point is that they were allowed to exit. Their passports were not revoked. No immigration authorities stopped them. No lookout notice was pushed, which should have been done promptly.
The government of Goa, what they are doing, what they have done in the past so many years, when these restaurants, when these people were operating so many outlets out there, and no concrete action was being taken, no proper regulation was in place in Goa.
All right, let's open this up and let's go across to our guests. Let me first go across to Advocate Susi Ben, National Spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, joining us on the broadcast. We have Kapil Madan with us, political analyst. The big questions that are being asked. Sanjay Sahai, former IPS, also joins us on the broadcast. Susi Ben, the big questions that are being asked are about the patronage being provided, about the collusion. The opposition says, how did they leave in the first place? Somebody tipped them off, somebody part of the authority, the establishment, the government is shielding them.
Good evening, Swati, and good evening to all my panelists and your valued viewers. I would just like to say this, that we are not a government which was 20 years ago. We are a government who've acted promptly. This was a crime, let us understand. This was a crime perpetrated by criminals. According to me, they have blood in their hands. The only legal paraphrase that I can use for such a heinous act is culpable homicide not amounting to murder. So they are going to be charged. They will have to face justice. We are only focusing on nabbing them and ensuring is justice given to all the 25 victims and their families. That is our only core focus as of now. I don't want to play politics over death, but to ensure that these two Luthras are nabbed and got back. How did they escape? They are criminals. They knew they're
it's
thinking
not as
also
simple as
like
that. It's
like
not
a
as simple
mafia,
as that.
Like a person.
Miss Shah, the fact that they kept on breaking the norms and they were allowed to do that, their business flourished.
Say that they were no. Swati, please. And then to say that the Goa government helped them to flee is not correct. The Goa government within 4 hours had
so that is your response to the opposition, Miss Shah. You're saying it's not correct to blame the Goa government. That is your response to the opposition. But what do you have to say about the norms that were being broken? Clearly, officers neglected the notices that were issued to them. They were buried. We don't know if bribes were offered. We don't know how many of them were involved. How was this allowed to happen? And now that this has come to fore, there are surprise checks happening across Goa.
Swati, I agree there was a lapse and therefore the inquiry. And I'm telling you, the inquiry is a legal, fair, transparent inquiry, well documented. They are supposed to give the report within 7 to 8 days. No officers, no politician. Howsoever high and mighty they be, they will be booked. They will have to pay the price for a heinous crime such as murder, according to me.
So you're saying whoever is a part of the establishment involved, they'll have to pay a heavy price. I want to bring in Kapil Madan. Kapil Madan, Ms. Shah is responding to all the allegations, but she has an objection when you say that the government was involved. She says We admit there were lapses, but the investigation has gathered pace. They have been detained in Thailand. Don't level allegations against the government, at least of patronage or collusion. How do you respond?
So, Swati, let me begin by saying I think I heard, the spokesperson from the Shiv Sena camp, and she said that according to her, it's culpable homicide. Let me just correct her legally here, because this is, an act which, attracts causing death by negligence, which is different from culpable homicide, legally and technically speaking. And let me just give you another perspective on it. Now, what Ms. Shah has said here is that, they are, acting very swiftly. They have, got those individuals detained pursuant to blue card notice, etc. I'll just ask one question here. You, in your opening statements, when you started the show, you mentioned about corruption. I ask, Ms. Shah here, which Babu of fire department, which Babu of the concerned municipal department is arrested in this case? You please name, because they are not in Thailand. They are sitting in Goa.
Absolutely.
If there is a negligence of person who is sitting in Delhi and running a restaurant there is definitely a negligence, and you yourself has said that, this is an example of corruption. When there is an example of corruption which have led to death of few people, which Babu is arrested? I ask Ms. Shah here.
Ms. Shah, quick rebuttal.
Yeah, I'm not running away from the fact that we do agree that there are lapses, right? And therefore, the investigation is mounted with a limited scope of 7 to 8 days. And who are in the... See, we are not running a banana republic. Everyone has a right to be heard, to say anything what if they want to, if at all, in their defense. Now, how can you run away from that system? Now, having said that, who are in the inquiry? There is a magisterial inquiry, the police, the collector, the fire officers at the highest level. The inquiry is ongoing. Give them 7 to 8 days. We nabbed them. We traced them to Phuket. We caught hold of them. Mr. Gupta was caught from Delhi. All of them will have to pay a price for the negligence.
Yes, but the fact that the negligence happened, but the fact that the negligence happened, it happened because it was allowed to happen. That's the whole problem, isn't it?
I'm not
Yes, action is being taken now that the damage is done. 25 people have lost their lives. The authorities have sprung into action. We've managed to get them detained in Thailand. But in the first place, why does a tragedy like this happen to wake up the authorities is the most important question. And let me go across to Mr. Sai. Mr. Sai, did we really miss the initial window? And there was a slight delay in issuing the lookout circular. The reason why they couldn't be stopped at any of the airports identified, or else they would not have been able to leave the country. Or do you believe that the investigation is moving in the right direction?
Investigation after these guys reached Phuket is moving in the right direction. But investigation prior to these guys leaving India, it was certainly not in the right direction. When we talk of digital age policing, to give information to immigration authorities just takes a split second. We have also seen the Ranya Rao case where the advanced information management system of Indian Customs and Immigration took 36 trips of Ranya Rao to detect her. So this is where it stands. So there is collusion or ignorance or inefficiency or lack of the databases getting integrated as far as this gentleman moves out, or he has a clear-cut plan in mind that whenever I land in such a tricky situation, I'll escape in that manner. So that also could have been the case. So
which seems to be the case, Mr. Sai. May I add that at 1:17 in the dead of the night, they book a ticket to Thailand and they are calling it a business trip. They are stating that in the court. And before you respond to that, sir, we have some breaking inputs coming in as well. I'm quickly accommodating the latest that we are reporting. So in the Goa Inferno probe fallout, we're given to understand that the Chief Minister of Goa, Mr. Pramod Sawant, has issued a fresh statement in which he's assuring action. He says Luthras will be brought back to Goa, which is the process that is underway. We're given to understand they'll be handed over to the authorities tomorrow. They'll be brought to the national capital first, as per reports, then taken to Goa on a transit remand. That's the latest that we are getting. So the Chief Minister of Goa has assured action once again. Listen in.
गोवा में ट्रैजिक फायर इंसिडेंट के बाद हमने 6 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया, 3 लोगों को सस्पेंड किया और उसकी इन्वेस्टिगेशन फास्ट ट्रैक तरह से हम चला रहे थे। जो एक्चुअल क्लब के ओनर 3 लोग थे, उसमें से एक को दिल्ली में ही अरेस्ट किया। उसके बाद यानी तुरंत उसी दिन भागने वाले उसके जो 2 ओनर थे, इसके लिए हमने उसी दिन LOC खोली और रीजनल पासपोर्ट ऑफिस को पासपोर्ट कैंसिलेशन के लिए कहा। हमारी गोवा पुलिस की पूरी टीम और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की सभी सेंट्रल एजेंसीज, हमने जब सेंट्रल एजेंसीज को रिक्वेस्ट किया, मैंने खुद होके होम मिनिस्टर, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स, इनको रिक्वेस्ट करने के बाद उनके हेल्प से उनको आज सुबह थाईलैंड यहाँ पे डिटेन किया है। मैं सही में यानी विद इन द चेकलिस्ट एट गिवन, और हमें जहाँ जहाँ पे मेजर वायलेशन मिलते हैं उस मेजर वायलेशन में के क्लब्स हम बंद करेंगे। मैंने पहले ही कहा है, उसका रिपोर्ट विद इन द शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ अ टाइम दे विल सबमिट द रिपोर्ट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट एंड विल क्लोज डाउन देयर क्लब्स।
होम डिपार्टमेंट कितना सीरियसली देखा सर, कितना चैलेंजिंग लिया था ये होम डिपार्टमेंट से?
मैंने पहले ही कहा है कि होम डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से 3 इशू एंड इन फ्यूचर इस तरह के इंसिडेंट न हो। वन विच इज एन ऑडिट करने के लिए जो टीम हमने रखी है, दे आर डूइंग द ओवरऑल ऑडिट ऑफ दिस इंसिडेंट, और बाकी सभी जितने सारे रेस्टोरेंट्स क्लब्स हैं उसका ऑडिट करेंगे और दे विल गिव द सजेशन। Second, we had given the advisory to all this type of clubs, and third is an enforcement कमेटी जो बिठाई है। तो नॉर्थ और साउथ गोवा के इस तरह के सभी क्लब वो खुद पर्सनली जाके विजिट कर रहे हैं और उसको अकॉर्डिंग टू डेट विल टेक द एक्शन। होम डिपार्टमेंट किसी भी तरह से इस तरह के इंसिडेंट इन फ्यूचर विल नॉट टॉलरेट।
So the Chief Minister of Goa says that we will not tolerate any such incident in the future. Mr. Sai, please finish your point that you were making earlier.
See, he's talking about that he will not permit or he will not accept any of these things. This is what they have been accepting all the while, and it's not only the Goa government. Here in Bangalore, where I am located, is exactly the same things happening. It's just that the tourist inflow is less and the quantum of money which is being made would be lesser than what happens in Goa. Coming back to the story between 11:39 to 5 or something a.m. on that fateful night. So the people have their plan in mind, or they have enough of legal resources which come to their help whenever it is required, and they were asked that please leave this country, and given the extradition situation and all these other things, you will be able to escape while we battle it out in the Indian courts and give all make-believe drama that how good you are and how business oriented and you have never broken the law. These people have broken every single law in this country, and exactly the same thing has been done by literally every single government official in Goa. Now, if the Chief Minister so wants, let him put a private audit, a civil society audit of architects, of these, put the group there. And this audit, we don't want an audit report. Let there be a documentation wherein all the details, you put the parameters, and people who are going to audit, they feed in that particular format.
So you're saying take concrete measures. Take concrete measures that will have some outcome that can stop the rot.
No, but first and foremost, only one line. First and foremost, Goa government has accepted that Harlankar, Dr. Sharmila and Raghuveer, they are equally culpable of all the offences which are made out against Luthras and 5 other people. And why no action is being taken against them?
Why no action taken? Ms. Shah, and then Kapil Madan, before I wrap up. Ms. Shah.
No, see, we have taken swift action. Maybe, as I said, there is a lapse. I'm not running away from it. Let it be very categorically understood. But we have yielded tangible results. We've broken the bar, and all other illegal bars or that they were running. There is strict audit underway. But what we are seeking a limited probe for 7 to 8 days, so that culpability, accountability should be fixed. No one will be spared, because it is a mass murder according to me.
I think the problem is in that approach itself. Post-tragedy action. Kapil Madan, if you take note of illegal activities and, if the officers do their job well, backed by the system, the tragedies won't take place. And irrespective of the government's establishments and who's ruling.
Swati, let me just say one thing here. In almost every such kind of a situation, you will have government making these kind of promises that they will do X, Y, Z. The point is, the fact that this kind of a tragedy happens shows that the government is actually sleeping, that the babus are in cahoot with, individuals. They are not, ensuring the process of the law, rules, regulation, etc. are followed. Now, it is very easy for, any government to say that, we will do this, we will do that. But the important point is, yes, you want to, fix the culpability of the accused who own the restaurant.
Right.
But the point is, you are absolutely silent on who from the, administration was responsible.
All right.
Under whose nose this was all
so
happening.
you're saying first admit, figure out who are part of the system. And I think, and that's a rot that's eating away all the systems across the states, irrespective of who's ruling. I say that because we've reported such tragedies from the BJP ruled states and the opposition ruled states as well. The victims' families at the end of the day just keep waiting for justice. We hope that it's swift. It happens as we report this big development. Thank you very much, Ms. Shah and gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast.